So a couple days ago I wrote a script that I called Racism versus Stereotyping. After letting it sit and rereading it, I realized that what I wrote down wasn't really what I wanted to get across, and I realized that it sounded a lot more ignorant than I had intended, and at the same time I was shunning the ignorance of others, so I figured it was a little hypocritical to make a video saying what I had written. So instead I just started writing down my thoughts, and this is what I came up with.
Boom, pow, bang, doo doo doo.
The point I wanted to get across with my perceived video that will never be is that just because someone spouts racial slurs does not make them a racist. Racial slurs have become so common in today's world to define stereotypes, and not always just a person's skin color. Racists are ignorant douchebags who need to get a grip on reality. While I do know life can be a lot harder for those who are not in the majority, especially in North America, people who cry racism every time life doesn't go their way really need to get the chip off their shoulder. Those who take offense to a racial slur or some other type of stereotyping need to relax. That was basically it. But really, that goes for anyone who is offended by what someone else thinks of them. I don't see the point of getting all hyped up about someone else's opinion of me, and nor do I think others should get excited about my opinion of them. It's just my opinion. This is me, and fuck you if you don't like it. Of course, on the other hand, that doesn't mean I won't take criticism and use it to improve myself, if I felt it would be an improvement. But if someone calls me a hick wigger because I live in the country and I listen to rap music, I just continue on my way, and usually laugh at their ignorance. Or the best one, a guy at work threatened to beat me up for giving him a hard time. I told him I didn't care, because if he hit me, I wasn't the one getting charged with assault, and I wasn't the one going to jail. I got called a woman by another coworker for doing that. But really, I'm 26, I have 2 kids at home, I don't need that shit in my life. And I'm not going to lose my job because someone can't take a joke and wanted to fight me over it. On the topic of ignorance though, I have to admit that sometimes I can be an ignorant bastard myself. Usually because I couldn't really care about certain topics. For instance, actual news and politics, really not interested in them. Don't really pay attention to what's going on either. The news is full of fear-mongering, and politics, although they affect me, I can't really be bothered to follow them. They say if you don't vote, you have no right to complain, so I don't. But then again, I don't try and pretend like I actually know what's going on. If I do happen to comment on something in the way of news, it's just from a bit of information that I happen to come across. I'm also horrible at debating. Partly due to my ignorance, and partly because I'm too willing to accept someone else's stance. Usually, if I have a difference of opinion with somebody, unless there's a definite right and wrong answer and I know they are wrong, I just let it go as a difference of opinions. I got into a debate about car stereos versus home stereos and which one was better. Something that I actually have a little bit of knowledge and experience with. The long and the short of it was the guy was trying to say that no matter how good of car stereo you had, it would never be able to compete sound quality wise with a home theater system. Now, technically, the atmosphere in both situations is completely different, and you can't really compare the two. But, for comparison's sake, I said, generally speaking, home theater systems do have better sound quality. Although, I have heard car systems that were specifically set up to sound as good, if not better, any home theater system. He said that it was because I hadn't heard his home theater. I tried to explain the difference and why they weren't even really comparable, and how it is possible in car audio, but no matter what I said, he said I was pulling at straws and so on. Now, it was a lot more involved than I make it out to be. But the point is, there is no real right or wrong answer. And I realize that while I'm willing to listen and try to learn something I may not have known or thought of, others aren't always the same way. Personally, I'm not big on banging my head against the wall. So I guess I'm really not a horrible debater. It's just I hate arguing with people who are less willing to learn than myself. Also, even though I may have strong opinions sometimes, most topics aren't even worth debating. Anyway, this is me. I'm out.
You've been watching this guy and his point of view. Please comment, rate, and subscribe.
Well, I guess that was about ignorance and opinions, and although you would have known that as soon as you clicked on it, I didn't find out until I was done scripting.